Now, onto a lighter note. God, the past few videos have been awfully dour. Let's talk about Amber Heard getting flushed down the drain for Aquaman, at least when it comes to the promotion, what she's going to end up doing to the ultimate bottom line of this final and ultimate dud in the superhero trend has yet to be seen, but we also have a little bit of insight on that. But Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom TV spots give us a brief new look at Amber Heard as Mera, which, yeah, there's a brand new trailer that's out there, and obviously I'm not going to show it because, you know, all of that jazz when it comes to dealing with copyright and stupid Warner Brothers. You know, they've never seen a video that they wouldn't like to strike and monetize for themselves. But I went and I watched through the entire spot, and it's like, yeah, it's fine, whatever, if you're so inclined to go watch this. Some of the CGI looks awfully goofy when you're underwater, so hopefully it's not down there the entire time to make it at least watchable, because holy shit, then it looks like it's going to give you motion sickness in your chair. But, okay, I think we spotted, okay, because there's, you know, a little bit that you can find of Amber Heard in this, and that's about the only time that I could see her. And I don't even know if that's necessarily her in the newest spot that's down there, but the chick, at least the red hair that you can see sitting on the picnic blanket, that might be Mera, because she has red hair. It's just, I have no idea. Just watching this 30-second clip, you're also going to get tonal whiplash, not unlike what we've seen with the Marvels, where everything was all light and jokey and fun. This right here is super serious and delves into a bunch of very interesting tones, but according to director James Wan, this was supposed to be like a buddy adventure film between Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson. That's the way that it has always been pitched. It's just weird that they're going to try to go with this super serious tone towards the end, even though an overly serious approach to superhero films and a more dour, nihilistic approach to some of the more lighthearted characters in all of comic book history was what ultimately sunk the DCEU. It's just kind of a weird pivot to do with one of your final TV spots, but it is what it is, right? There's no use crying over spilt milk, or spilt seahorse milk in this case. Two new TV spots for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom have been shared online, and one of us gives us a very, very brief new look at Amber Heard as Mera. I'll take your word for it. Arthur Curry's love interest had a prominent role in the first film, but Heard has previously revealed that most of her scenes for the sequel were removed, with only two early sequences making the final cut. Director James Wan claims that Mera was always going to have a reduced role. Don't worry about it. But for whatever reason, it became clear that the character was mostly being left out of the marketing, even though a lot of it centers around Aquaman's child. It's like, wow, did he just spawn that? Is that again like seahorses where they just go ahead and lay a batch of eggs and then just the children sprout up out of nowhere? No, there's a mother, and we need to reconcile her absence. Maybe she's dead. Who knows? Is this due to so many fans turning on Heard after details of the Deb Heard trial were made public? Like, yeah, her being an overt abuser, lying about everything? No, I couldn't imagine that would be distasteful for the general public, and that they'd want to minimize her role in the marketing as much as possible, trying to make everybody forget that she's an integral part of the billion-dollar grossing original. It's so funny because I heard a comparison recently of how much money Aquaman 1 and Captain Marvel 1 made, and they were both Aquaman, because of course a man's in the role, ended up making slightly more than Captain Marvel, but we're dealing with, you know, just a couple $1 million between the two. So when this thing eventually does get released into theaters, I really don't know, man. I really don't know what's going to end up pulling better and what's going to end up holding the crown as a steepest drop-off from a $1 billion film to the sequel. Because thinking that this thing is going to do, you know, numbers, I would be shocked. I will shut down my channel if this thing becomes, you can go ahead and fucking hold me to that, if this thing ends up being a fucking $1 billion hit, if this thing ends up surpassing Aquaman 1 levels, I will shut down my channel. I will go back. I will just do a fucking regular job. That's how much faith I have in this thing not being that fucking successful. But at the same time, is it going to make more money than the Marvels? I legitimately don't know. It has preferential release date. It does have at least some likable characters to it, but it does have a dying franchise in DC attached to it, and, well, of course, the turd that just won't finally go down the drain. So yes, whatever the case may be, we do get another blank and you miss a glimpse of Mira in the second promo as she reacts to Aqua Baby being taken by Black Manta, whose costume looks pretty comic book accurate. It does look a little bit goofy, but the rest of the CGI underwater does look pretty goofy, so it's not bad. It's not bad. The other spot is longer and features quite a bit of new footage of Aquaman and Ocean Master. Ocean Master, take me by the hand, teaming up to face off against Manta's forces. Yes, of course, you could catch that right there, but an Amber Heard Stan account, one of the 6, because as you can see, it's really putting up numbers. I couldn't find this. It must be from a different clip. But Mira appears in the new clip for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The clip is so short, it looks like they tried to edit her out and missed the bit. Well, yeah, exactly. They don't put Amber in more promos. Her supporters, both of them, aren't going to show up for this film. But it's kind of like leftists in general, okay? Like, they're the ones who scream the hardest into the black emptiness of social media. But when it comes to finally put the money where their gaping maws are, they're never the ones that turn up to the theaters. They're the mythical modern audience that so many studio productions are trying to capture, but they just don't exist in the numbers that they purport to, that they continue to bounce their interactions off of. So the quicker that a studio's entertainment in general learns that basic fact, quicker we can get back to profitable films, because like I said, man, this thing is not gonna make any goddamn money. Aquaman 2, a box office tracking points DC's next bomb. Yes, another one, but at least the final one, until James Gunn can go ahead and take control of the brand new and rechristened DCEU with his Superman film that is set to release in 2025. It's at least taken some time away, okay, trying to distance himself from the stench of the Snyderverse and try to do something different. I've noted all of the casting decisions that have come out, and all of them look to be very good. Now, if James Gunn can simply put a good script to this, direct it competently, and allow enough fresh air to come in and just go ahead and swipe out that stale stench of the current trend of modern superhero films, we might be in for something good, but who knows? 2025 is a long fucking time away. We could all be engaged in World War III if dem boys don't calm down in the Middle East. The DCEU has had its fair share of shape-ups and downs over the years. The first Aquaman movie is, I still think it is the most profitable DC film, obviously outside of the Dark Knight franchise, okay? In the current incarnation of the DCEU, I'm pretty sure it's the most successful. Because none of the other ones, you had fucking Superman and you had Batman. You couldn't even crest $1 billion with that. But fucking Aquaman is the one that makes the most money. Whatever, man. First Aquaman movie released in 2018. That was a long time ago. Happened to be one of their ups. As for Aquaman 2, however, things aren't looking good for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is currently trailing Black Adam as the next DC bomb, which in recent times, Black Adam barely breaking even, or maybe losing a couple of $1 million, is far and away one of their best performing. It is the best performing DC film to come out so far. Blue Beetle, don't make me laugh. The Flash, that was, until the Marvels, the biggest bomb of 2023. But Aquaman 2, hold my Bud Light. And Shazam 2, do you even remember that shit came out? Yeah, exactly. Aquaman 2018 managed to earn as much as $67 million during its 3-day opening. That's not bad. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. It would then earn over $100 million in its 5-day Christmas opening. Oh, wow. It was on Christmas weekend in 2018. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, preferential. And then also, you know, just harken back. Hey, the last time that you see Aquaman in the theaters, it was 2018. The world was a totally different, nicer, better place. And hey, you know, you can just go back to the theaters. And that's why I think that, you know, Aquaman 2 might have a little bit of a leg up when it comes to beating the Marvels at the basement of cinema in 2023. Because with everything that's going to be out there, unless of course, you know, Godzilla continues to dominate everything and it gets the extended run through Christmas, then you might be in trouble. But when it comes to just, okay, if everybody's going to go down to the theater over the Christmas weekend, what is something that everybody can agree upon? Aquaman? Probably. Who the fuck is going to want to go see Wonka? Exactly. And what is it? DreamWorks has Migration in the theaters. That's a little bit too young, but if you have a moderately young family, you got a big get together, you could just have something that's inoffensive, something that's going to have some action, some comedy. It's like, yeah, it'll have everything. You'll be able to go to that. Okay, that's why I think it might have, it still might have a little bit of normie appeal just for the time that it's out there. If this dropped in the summer, it wouldn't have done anything. It would have been completely overshadowed by either the mushroom cloud of Oppenheimer, the pink stilettos of stupid feminist Barbie, or, I don't know, probably would have got dwarfed by Sound of Freedom. Who the fuck knows? So yes, cast your mind back. 2018, it accrued $67 million opening 3-day weekend. $67 million domestically, right? The sequel, however, seems to be on track for $32 to $42 million in its 3-day. Last time we talked about this, 42 was supposed to be the basement, and 60, something like that, I think 60 or maybe $55 million. That was it was revised down, but still tracking ahead of the Marvels. Now, the high end, the maximum range of that, that's where it's tracking now. This is not good for the 3-day opening. But Christmas does fall on a Monday this year, and it's dropping on the 22nd, so it's coming out. It's going to have that full weekend, but it could still do a good Monday, Tuesday, throughout that week right there, where most people are at least on a reduced work schedule. It's got the benefit of that. As shared via Box Office Pro, the film is also 62% behind Black Adam after 1 day of sample marketing tracking its ticket sales. And considering that the film only made $393 million on a budget estimated to be between, it's probably going to be somewhere closer to that, because this thing has been delayed at least 5 separate times, gone through several rounds of reshoots. It is probably, it's so fair and it's so perfect that the Marvels released in a same time frame, because that jilted development cycle was the exact same thing that Aquaman 2 went through. So they're almost perfect to the numbers. $260 million. It's going to be north of that, guys. Okay, those numbers are quite dire. Of course, there are some major differences between this particular Aquaman film and its successful predecessor. Although both films star Jason Momoa as the titular character, they're also released at different times in DC's history. The first Aquaman was released following the failure of Joss Whedon's Justice League. And the sequel is right here just to cap the end of the failure of the DCEU. Not really in a different spot, okay? But it managed to bring fans around to the DCEU by being an overall enjoyable blockbuster. The sequel, on the other hand, is being released at the end of the DCEU as James Gunn and Peter Safran plan to relaunch the brand with a new continuity, the DCU. And thanks to superhero films generally being perceived as a setup for the next thing to come out, a lot of people are going, well, this story isn't going to lead into another story. Well, what if on an off chance this thing happens to be one of the best comic book stories ever told? People are just generally not going to go see it because, oh, it's the end of it. There's no more keys to Jangle. I don't know what you could do at the end of this. Why would I go see something that's not going to continue and lead into something? Can you guys tease the X-Men at the end of it? Wrong fucking company, but that's how they've been trained. That's how DC even trained their fans. And now you reap exactly what you fucking sowed. The film has also had troubling production issues. For starters, Jason Momoa's co-star, the old toilet stain had her own fair share of controversies during her lawsuit. And then the goofy leaked therapy notes that also said, oh, Jason, no, he was drunk on set and he would dress like Johnny to intimidate me. And then everybody at Warner Brothers going, no, actually, she's like really dog shit. Her chemistry was awful. Shout out to the editors for making it look at least palatable. And she's totally capping. And Jason Momoa is nothing but a fucking professional. So shut the fuck up, collect your paycheck, and get the fuck out. Other issues suggest that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has faced a number of troubling reshoots. Exactly. That's why this budget is going to be north of $300 million. But I'm just wondering, man, and something that I will be paying attention to as 2023 rolls down. Is Aquaman 2 still, with all of those problems, is it going to beat the Marvels? At this point in time, man, it's a fucking coin flip. I legitimately can't call that, because as I record this right now, the Marvels still hasn't made $200 million. This weekend is going to be telling. It should crack $200 million. It also never should have only been looking at cracking $200 million a month into its release. So Aquaman, you're telling me there's a chance? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.